All right, welcome to the channel. This is going to be my review of the Fantastic Four First Steps. Just dropped in my area tonight, so I went and saw it. Um, yeah, um, let's go. What did I think of it? I liked it. I enjoyed it. Um, 8.5 out of 10. Good family entertainment. There's no cursing, no nudity or anything like that. The worst thing that you see is Sue Storm giving birth on the spaceship, which you don't actually see anything, but there's lots of screaming and yelling. Um, so yeah, family fun. It's got a little robot in it, so the kids will like that. But for everyone else, yeah, it's entertaining. I liked it. What can I say? Okay, one thing I'll warn you about now is if you're looking for reviews of this movie, unlike this one, if you find any that are based on the trailers, ignore them. The people analyzing the trailers and giving their reviews before the movie even dropped got it totally wrong, most of them. They were talking to, so what did they get wrong? Well, they were talking about Sue Storm being the main character and everything around her and being girl boss and all this kind of stuff. Nope, not really. She's a main character because the story actually revolves around her and Reed Richards' kid, the baby. And what you see from her being a strong female character is a very hetero thing, and she's protecting her child that she had with Reed Richards, and she will go to any ends to protect him. In fact, I think this is the first time I've ever heard in Marvel movie where a main character who's supposed to be good tells somebody else to kill somebody, which she tells Johnny to go kill somebody because she fears for her child. So that is gone. They were saying that Johnny Storm was in the comics was a very womanizer and stuff like that. They dialed that, thought they were going to dial that back. They didn't. He doesn't. You don't see him dating people or women throwing themselves at him, but it's very much suggested that that's what he is. In fact, he starts talking about how good looking the Silver Surfer is. That's another thing that people complained about, that it's the Silver Surfer. It's a women's version. There's a man version that were in some of the previous things, but this one is another one. I didn't care. They weren't really, even though they're sort of crucial to the final ending, they're not really that much in the movie that you'd have to worry about that. Um, yeah, it's just totally, a lot of the stuff is wrong. They talked about how many reshoots there were. Well, I think there were reshoots, but it didn't really seem to affect the movie that much. You don't see any big gaps or anything like that. So ignore any review that you're seeing that is only based on the trailer, okay? And then you'll have a better time at this movie. All right, so um, shorter list, so I'll start with what I didn't like. Um, didn't like the robot, but it's in there for kids, so who cares? Um, didn't like the ending, how they get rid of Galactus. Didn't think that was that strong, but okay, it sort of nicely tied up the movie. What else didn't I like? I mean, there were some holes in the storyline. Nobody's perfect. It wasn't horribly unenjoyable for that reason. The pacing isn't the greatest. It starts off strong, goes kind of dormant in the middle, slow, a little boring in the middle, and then picks up at the end. So be prepared for changes in pacing. What did I like? The look of it. You can see here it's kind of a retro look, and they do it across the entire city and everything. It looks quite good. I really enjoyed it, and it fits. They're consistent. The CGI in general is good in this show. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The look and feel of the show. It's good. Um, the cast is very good. Pedro Pascal plays Reed Richards. People are saying that we're again these people who doing the trailers, that he was going to be a wuss. He's not. His problem is that he's racked with guilt over, he blames himself for what happened to his friends and family. The movie starts 4 years after the accident that turned them into the superheroes, and he feels horribly bad about it. And he's concerned with his wife. Vanessa Kirby plays his wife, Sue Storm. She's pregnant. He's concerned that he's done something he will have damaged her child, so he's always wanting to test. But he's good in it. People complain he's in everything, but he does a serviceable job with his character, so why not? Vanessa Kirby is good as Sue Storm, comes across good strength, but also warmness and the person sort of concerned about the group and tying them together. Ebon Moss Baccarat, he plays Ben Grimm, the Thing, the guy covered with rocks. Does a good job. He's not really called on to do much acting. You don't really see. I would like to see more action featuring him, but there isn't enough. Well, there's enough, but it would have been nice to see more. He was in The Bear. He was in Andor season one. He was one of the criminals. Does a good job. He generally does a good job. Johnny Quinn, I'm not that familiar with. Does Johnny Storm. Does fine with it. Is a bit brash. A lot of the humor comes from him. They did dial back the humor for a normal Marvel project, so that was good. That's a good thing. Sometimes they get carried away with always making a joke when stuff should be serious. Anyways, Quinn is good. Ralph Ineson playing Galactus. Well, he's all CGI, so and the CGI is good in this. I didn't find too many holes in it, so even Galactus looks pretty good and is well done in this, and the fights and the flying and stuff like that. But again, he just has to say a few lines. What really kind of acting is there? Julie Gardner plays the female Silver Surfer again, even though she's kind of crucial to the show. She doesn't really doesn't really have to do too much, and because her character is mostly CGI, you sort of lose some of the acting. But I thought she did fine. Natasha Loin is just a side character, some sort of potential love interest for Ben. In the comic book, she's a bigger character, so maybe something will happen later on. Sarah Niles, totally wasted in this. She's in Ted Lasso. She plays a psychiatrist in the second season of that show. I loved her in that show. She doesn't do much here. Mark Gatiss plays this talk show host guy that his job is to backfill the story for anybody who doesn't know the origins of the Fantastic Four at the start, and he's at the end where they're supposed to come for something, and then they all disappear on him. Totally wasted. Again, he's a fairly good actor. He's more known for being a producer and a writer. I know him from Sherlock, the Benedict Cumberbatch version of Sherlock. He plays Mycroft, Sherlock's brother, but he's responsible for a lot of the writing and the producing in that show, and does a. I love that show, so he does very well. He also wrote a lot of the not sucking scripts for Doctor Who, so he's actually quite good. So he's kind of wasted for what he does there. Now this could be because there was lots of edits and stuff, as I mentioned before, and maybe some of their stuff got shifted out of the show. But all in all, a good cast. So there you go. It, like I said, it's a good show, good cast here. Um, like I said, the technology works. All the computers have like CRT screens. There's very few flat screens in it. But the humor's baked down. Yeah, it's a good show. It's like I said, good cast. Writing's good enough. CGI is good. The look and feel of it is. The weak point again is potentially the ending. Spoiler here. Basically, what happens is uh, Silver Surfer shows up here. You can see this. They were back just gonna have dinner. Surfer shows up, says, "You're all dead because Galactus is coming. This is Galactus coming." They always have. That's sort of a goofy thing there. You saw the footprint with four. Um, they have everything's marked with four, like the Fantastic Four in it. But anyways, they fear that Galactus is coming, and they get in their spaceship. They go out into outer space. Reed didn't want to go to outer space because he's worried about his wife. The other two, Ben and Johnny, were trying to push him to go into outer space, and now they're back in outer space. They find Galactus, they confront him, sort of fight him, lose, and then have to go away. They have run, basically, to get away. Silver Surfer chases them. They get rid of her, and now they have to figure out what they're gonna do. Galactus offered them a choice: give me the child, because he wants to transfer his burden of being a planet eater onto the child. And if they do give him the child, he'll spare the planet. They say no, obviously. And then Earth just starts to, well, why wouldn't you? Why won't you save us? That kind of stuff. So start doubting the Fantastic Four, where before they were very much fans and stuff like that. Um, and eventually, Galactus shows up. They have a plan, finally come up with a plan whereby they have Reed Richards in his lab, has a little basically he does a little um, experiment on matter transportation. So they decide they can build these at a large scale, and they can throw Galactus into this matter transfer and send him to the end of the universe. They want to separate him from the ship, because then he won't be able to get back to Earth for years and years and years. And this is an alternate Earth. This is not the normal Earth, our Earth, anyways. That's one of the things I don't like, is this stupid multiverse thing. But anyways, that's part of the show. Um, so they have a fight. The one thing you get is, like, these aren't the greatest superheroes. They can't really do too much. Vanessa Kirby is actually sort of the strongest. Reed Richards was always smart. Now he's Elastaman. He's kind of very ineffective. The Thing is strong. He can't do much about Galactus. Johnny Storm is maybe the next most powerful. He's the Torch, so he can shoot fire. Um, but they're all sort of an ineffective bunch. But anyways, their idea is to get Galactus to come for the baby. He'll come out of the ship to get the baby. They'll force him into, or trick him into going into this transponder, and they'll send him across the universe. He figures out it's a trap, goes and grabs the baby. So that triggers Sue to push him with her force powers into this transporter thing. So you see her dialing up the the powers, but again defending her kid, um, and ultimately pushes Galactus into this transponder or transporter. But before they can activate it and trap him. He starts climbing out, and that's when the Silver Surfer comes in and knocks him into it, or pushes him into it. Johnny had figured out her language. Kind of weak how he did that, but he plays for her the recordings that he somehow has captured of the people who were killed when Galactus destroyed their planets, and it was the Silver Surfer who was picking the planets for Galactus to destroy, so she feels guilty, and that's why she comes at the end and helps. That's kind of a very short overview of the story. I'm just playing this clip again and again for you. But yeah, that's it for the movie. Again, it's enjoyable, good cast, decent enough story, decent enough action, good CGI. Good to have a major villain. Not so good how they get rid of him. Humor dialed down. Good performances all aboard. But yeah, I like the show, and I think you will too. Okay.